Hello, my name is Rich Howard, owner of Architectural Builder Supply, and this video is to bring you a closer look at the Bommer 5010-355-633. This is a plain bearing 5-knuckle full mortise wide throw, steel based 3.5 by 3.5, removable pin satin brass hinge. Let's dissect that part number. 5010 means a bunch of things. Let's just slam them all at once. It first of all means that it's a full mortise hinge. You can see from the swag on the hinge leaf there that the leaves are intended to be mortised flush to the edge of the door and to the frame when they're brought parallel. It also means that it is a 5-knuckle plain bearing hinge. 5-knuckle, you can see. Plain bearing means that there are no ball bearings between the knuckle joints at all. It also means that it is a standard weight hinge, which is going to be 129 thousandths, I think, leaf thickness. 123 thousandths. 123 thousandths leaf thickness. It's going to mean that it's a wide throw hinge. That means that the hinge is wider than it is tall, and we'll go over the size in a moment. It means it's a steel-based hinge. Okay. Let's see. It means also that's it. Let's move forward. Rest of the part number. 355 means that it is 3.5 inches tall, and the height comes first on a hinge like this, and 5-inch wide. You're not really going to get this confused with a 5 by 3.5 because they don't make that. But if you had a 5 by 4.5, that specifically means the 5 inches the height. You don't want to get those two numbers turned around like 4.5 by 5, which exists, which does exist, and a 5 by 4.5. So this hinge, 3.5 by 5 means it's 3.5 tall, 5-inch wide. 633 is the finish, and it means two things. Again, it means that it's a steel-based hinge, but it means that it's a satin brass finish. So it's satin brass on steel. There's a link below this video to what is called the cut sheet, and that shows everything important dimensionally about the hinge that we've not already covered, specifically where these screw holes are located, which is what we would call a template pattern. Also indicates, and speaking of screws, screw holes. Screws are included in a complementary finish. Okay. Below that drawing, that dimensional drawing, is a chart or a table. You can see in the left column there where it's got steel hinges, and all those are steel-based hinges. Your 5000 is a standard non-wide throw hinge. 5010 becomes wide throw. 8000 becomes a 3-knuckle hinge versus 5-knuckle. The BB adds ball bearing to either of those situations, and then the LB for the 8000 means it's a concealed, maintenance-free type bearing construction exclusive to Bommer. When you kick the next column over, brass or bronze base, you can see how the 5010 changes to 5011. Now, if you were to order this hinge and you wanted it in a solid brass base material, it would become a 5011, but the finish code would also change to 606 because that's satin brass, but the 606 means solid brass base material, whereas the 633 means steel base. That's the difference. You could change it to a stainless steel base material by going 5012, but that would be just a polished stainless or the much more common satin stainless. And all of those other part numbers, how they change. The BB adds ball bearings. The 8000 means it's a 3-knuckle sort of hinge. Dimensions are there for the A dimension that's referred to in the drawing above, okay, which is important to see. Lots of options are available from Bommer on this sort of hinge. You can, first of all, get decorative tips. The standard tip is called a button tip, and if you use your imagination, you can see why they call it that. Ball tip is by far the most common. Urn tip, steeple tip, acorn tip. You can get security features such as non-removable pins or security studs which would be important if you had an exterior door that swung out. You don't want someone to get access to that hinge pin and be able to tamper with that and pull it out. Radiused corners can be ordered, if you need. All of these considerations can be accomplished and accommodated by Bommer. Reach out to us and we'll help you order that. The last thing I'd like to point out to you is the Bomber logo. Right above it, it says Made in USA. That's a fact that Bommer's quite proud of, as am I, to represent them. Any questions on the Bommer 5010-355-633 for wide throw hinge or any other Bommer product, please feel free to reach out to us. Also, if you're thinking about wide throw hinges, you might need to think about extended lip strike plates. Those two items sometimes go hand in hand. My name is Rich Howard. Let me know if you have any questions. Thank you.